Hello and welcome back to the second annual Toyota Tuesdays. I'm Brian from Sixth Gear Garage, and I'm here with Clinton from Dirt Garage.
Hey guys, how's it going?
And we're here to talk Toyotas with you for the next half hour and take any questions that you might have. So feel free to come on in and give us your most challenging questions, because Clinton's here and he knows more than I do about this stuff.
I mean, maybe a little.
So let us know if there's any sort of audio issues or if one of us is too loud, because I can adjust that on my end. It's hard for us to hear what you guys are hearing. So give us a heads up if something funky is going on.
I gave it a quick test and turned the audio on YouTube, and I can hear us both just fine.
Perfect.
So
Perfect.
we should be good.
All right.
So how's it going?
Good, man. How about you? So what are you drinking tonight?
Beer.
Yeah, what's in your mug?
Bush.
Bush? Okay, nice.
Nice and cheap.
Yeah, I hear you. I just cracked open some Goose Island 312 here.
Oh, nice. Sounds a little fancier.
When I get fancy, like that's my level above like Budweiser. When I'm feeling fancy, I'll go for some Goose Island.
Budweiser and Clamato is generally my go-to.
Okay, nice.
But yeah.
The Fast Lane back for round two. How's it going?
Oh yeah.
And let's see. So, Clinton, we were talking a little bit before the show. I was just curious. I wanted to get a rundown of all your fleet, your Toyota fleet, because I know there's some that you don't have anymore.
Yeah. Well, do you want what I've had and what I no longer have, or do you want just what I currently have and then what I got rid of?
Let's go with that one. Currently have
Yeah,
what you got
currently
rid of.
have.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, currently I've got my 1989 Toyota pickup, which I've done the solid axle swap to. I'm currently putting the 2UZ V8 in it. I did a manual swap. It's got dual transfer cases, stock ratios in both transfer cases. Locker right, locker rear, e-locker front. It's got all the goodies for wheeling. But yeah, I've had that one for, when did I get? 2014 is when I got that truck. And yeah, it was bone stock when I got it. It's been a lot of work, but it's been so much fun. Also, I've got a 2003 Toyota Corolla that I built for the Gambler 500. When would that have been? It would have been 2 years ago. We built that. We lifted it. You can't buy lift kits for Corollas, so we made the lift kit for it. And Ethan from Grindhard Plumbing Company helped me build a rally bumper for it, just so it looks super cool and off-roady. What else do I have? Oh, and my wife's 96 4Runner, which is also an ongoing frame-off project I'm in the middle of on my channel.
Nice.
Yeah. So those are the three I currently own.
So you mentioned the Gambler 500. I don't know if any of our viewers are into the Gambler 500 or not, but basically what it is it's mainly fun. There's no prize money or anything, but it's 500 miles in a $500 car. And it's funny because I actually found your channel because I was researching Land Cruisers, and you had a cheap Land Cruiser that you built for the Gambler 500.
Did.
Tell us about that one.
So that Land Cruiser we picked up for $220, and it was plus a case of, I think it was like Coors Light or something. No, it was Pabst. It was PBR. So yeah, we picked up for $220 plus a case of beer, but it was clapped. There was nothing nice about this 4Runner. It was insanely rotten. The guy we got it from was convinced that the tranny was going. That problem never showed its face to us. It was perfect the whole time. What we think it was is the rear U-joint was so worn out. I'm surprised it was even holding to life. All the needle bearing was gone. It was just a sliver of the U-joint actually left in it. And I'm assuming that's what the previous owner thought was its tranny going, was the big clunk that was making.
Nice.
I have no idea. But yeah, it was a complete rust bucket. It leaked. It was just, nothing good about it. But we did the head gasket. The head gasket wasn't gone in it, but we got an engine seal kit. So we just ended up redoing everything because we wanted to know that it was going to make it down to Oregon and back. If you don't know, I'm up in the Kootenays in British Columbia, Canada. So it's like an 11, 12-hour drive down to the original or the OG Gambler 500 for me. So yeah, we wanted to make sure this Land Cruiser was actually going to last. So yeah, we did engine, we rebuilt the front axle, we did bearings, we did the rear axle as well, new leaf spring bushings, new shocks, and we did the body work because we didn't want it to get pulled off the road by the cops on our way down either. But yeah, at the end of the day, we were probably about $2,000 into that.
That's how it goes.
Into
though.
that Gambler, but what?
That's how it goes when you get into a gambler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, its initial cost was super cheap, and the rest was just to make sure that we actually made it to the Gambler. And then I think we sold it for like $2,600
Oh, nice.
after, so we didn't lose any money. We made a tiny bit of money on it, and we went to the Gambler 500 in it. So yeah,
Nice.
it was a really fun project. I would have held on to it, but my team was a couple of buddies I worked with, and we all kind of paid for the modification and to build it, and it just made more sense for us to sell it and split the money instead of me trying to buy out their share because it wasn't worth it to me.
Sure.
But yeah,
Nice.
that's my Gambler.
That's cool. Yeah, we went to a couple of them. The first one we went in our 1998 Honda Accord, which we
Yeah.
turned into an El Camino,
Yeah.
and ended up lifting and stuff like that. And that car sat ever since. And then the next year, which was the second year for the Detroit Gambler 500, which is the one that we go to because Ohio doesn't do anything fun, we took my Toyota because everybody was getting stuck the first year. So we went on the rescue team the next year.
That's when you plasty dipped it.
Yes, it is. Yeah, we went for the Ivan Stewart theme on it.
Yeah,
It worked pretty good. But
it looked cool like that.
go figure. The second year, everybody was more prepared, and they already had like lifted vehicles, and everybody had like off-road tires. So I think I only really helped one guy that was in a big jam. But it was still fun nonetheless.
Fair enough. The Oregon one, you really don't need a 4x4 at all. Like even in my little Toyota Corolla, it was perfectly adequate for what the Gambler was around there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we have, being in the Rust Belt, we have an abundance of $500 cars. I don't know how it is up your way.
Oh, we got lots of $500 cars here too. I paid $700 for my Corolla. That's Canadian, by the way, so it's about $500 US. So it qualifies, and that one I put zero money into, except for the cost of steel to make the lift kit and the bumper. So nice. It was just ready to go for the Gambler, and I brought it home, and I've been daily driving the Corolla since. So
nice. Well, that thing paid for itself.
Yeah, exactly. It pays for itself even just in fuel. I barely spend any money on that thing, and it's just been awesome.
Plus,
its tranny went. My last fall the tranny went in it, so I found another $500 Corolla, swapped the tranny, and that's back in action again. So
yeah,
they're easy to find cheap.
Yeah, and it's going to go forever too.
Yeah, exactly. My Corolla was at, for some reason, the early 2000s Toyota cars stop at like 299,999 kilometers. In the States, if it stopped at 999 miles, it would make more sense. That is a significant amount more than kilometers.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I don't actually know the kilometers that are on my Corolla either because I bought it at that. But
so yeah. when you're off-roading up there where you live, and not BC, what's your Calgary?
Pardon me?
Are you in Calgary?
No, I'm in Cranbrook.
Okay. Do you guys have
4 hours away from Calgary?
Okay. Is Canada kind of cool where they have public land or BLM, I've heard it called, or something like that?
So yeah, it's called Crown Land.
Okay.
But yeah, pretty much anywhere or any Forest Service road you're welcome to drive on, or trails, it's all, most of British Columbia is public land where you can literally drive anywhere as long as there's a trail.
That's awesome. So you just buy like some sort of annual like sticker pass type of thing to do that, or
you just do it.
Oh, that's even better. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't need to have any off-road permits or anything like that.
Okay.
It's just You got a 4x4, you're welcome to use
Yeah, it's
the
another
public
reason to
land.
move up there.
It's really nice. But yeah. That being said, there isn't a ton of like dedicated off-road trails with like gnarly obstacles and stuff, like off-road parks, I guess, where you'd really want to go test your rig. Most of the roads are just Forest Service roads,
Yeah, and that's what
but
we
you'll
see in your videos.
yeah. Yeah, it's what you see in the videos. Occasionally, there'll be obstacles and stuff where the road has washed out, or there's a slide over it, or just very old road. That's when they're fun. But
Yeah,
yeah, but it's nice because just because there's a slide on it, they don't close the roads; they keep them open. So
that's cool. See, I know like you and like I talked to Jimmy from Snail Trail. He's
yeah,
out west, and they have that BLM or that public land that you're talking about. Here
yeah,
in Ohio, we don't have. There's nothing like that.
no,
No, there's no public land. You can't just go drive,
that
in a
sucks.
state forest, or you'll get arrested. So
Oh,
you've got to go to private land, and that's why
yeah,
there's some off-road parks. But you got to pay to
and then you
pay,
gotta pay to
obviously.
go
And
play. Yeah.
yeah,
See,
um,
I wouldn't mind paying to go wheeling if the wheeling's good. Like if there's obstacles and they make and it's really gnarly trails, I would pay for it. Hey cat, no no no. That's one thing I do wish was around here, and there probably would be more if we didn't have the public land everywhere.
makes sense.
But, yeah, you either get one or the other. That being said, I don't need to travel far to find like off-road or wheeling trails that are difficult,
Yeah.
or that have obstacles.
There's a place in Ohio. It's pretty much like the best off-roading spot in Ohio. It's called Wellsville, and it's a
Hmm.
couple acres of land, and the owners, I guess, kind of just let it slide. But
Yeah.
that's been shrinking. It's about half the size that it was 10
Oh
years
yeah.
ago. Yeah, people starting to sell off parts of it, so it's kind of diminishing. But it's still probably the best off-roading um, in Ohio that you don't need to like pay to get a pass on. But
Hmm.
that's why we go to Michigan for the Gambler 500, because Michigan's cool. You can go
Yeah.
buy a $20 something dollar pass, stick it on your window, and you're good to drive on any trail, like in the
I
state.
believe I don't believe Oregon's the same way. You need to have an off-road permit of sorts because I know I had to pick one of those up for the Gambler as well.
Okay.
But yeah, I think it's a pretty normal thing to have your off-road permit or your public land permit.
Yeah, unless you're in Canada, which is like totally
Unless
laid
you're
back.
in Canada, yeah, that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
At least in British Columbia, I can't speak for the rest of the country.
Right.
But yeah,
All right, I'm going to get caught up on a couple questions here.
that was great.
Let's see. Yeah, Tom, about the trucks going to Mexico, I see that all the time posted on the Toyota Facebook groups. Just truckloads of Toyotas just going over the border.
When my truck was stock, I had it was parked in my work, and somebody came into my work looking for the owner of the Toyota pickup truck parked outside because she wanted to ask me if they could buy it because they wanted to take it down to Mexico. So even up here, people are buying up trucks to send down to Mexico.
That's crazy.
Not only that, there's a guy in town that's collecting a whole sea can of Toyota like solid axles and front ends and Toyota parts, like old Toyota parts to send to Africa.
Wow.
Yeah, and a buddy of mine and I've been asked because they want to buy them from us, but we said no because we want all of our parts to stay in our local area for people around here that needs them. We don't want to send everything away, otherwise we'll be in a bind later.
Right. Especially those solid front axles.
Yeah, the solid front axles, the gear-driven transfer cases, those are stuff you don't really want to let go of because
Right.
you need them. Especially the gear-driven transfer cases, because guys like me need two of them
True.
in our rigs, so they're getting harder and harder to find too. That and e-lockers, those are getting snatched up as well. But yeah,
Let's see. This is out of my domain a little bit. Someone asked, what's a common fix for a P0171 code on a 98 Camry 2.2? So I Googled this a minute ago, and it's a lean fuel condition. I don't know if you have any experience with these engine codes on your OBD2 Corolla or not, but
I ignore engine codes.
The Corollas probably don't throw engine codes, do they?
I've got an engine code in the Corolla, and it's for my cats are rotten, or they don't work as well as they should be. That's the only code the Corolla throws. My pickup throws codes, or used to throw codes for the automatic transmission that doesn't exist because I'm using an auto ECM on a manual truck. So I pulled the bulb because I didn't want to look at it.
Solved.
Yeah, it's solved. Yeah, I have no idea about your fuel, whatever.
Yeah, I would say, let's see, a 98. It's definitely probably a lean fuel condition. I'd say could be a dirty injector, could be a dirty fuel filter, something like that that's keeping fuel from getting to the engine. What I read on Google said it could be just extra air, an abundance of air getting in, but I don't see how that's the case. I bet it's most likely a fuel issue somewhere, whether it be injectors or.
Well,
or
it could
filter.
be a loose intake, I guess, if it's extra air getting
Or
in,
that,
but that
yeah.
would throw mass airflow codes, I'd think.
Like a leak, yeah.
Because I've seen just boot or tears in just the elbows on intakes that would cause engines to run like crap and throw codes as well. I don't know if that would be that specific issue, but I have no idea.
Yeah. Well, Toyota Tuesday is really, we should say Toyota Truck Tuesday, because
Yeah.
I don't know much. I honestly don't know much about the cars. I had a Camry, ended up selling it, but never really got into doing too much wrenching on it.
Yeah, I just got the Corolla.
Yeah.
I replaced the tranny, lifted it, and put a bush bumper on it.
So we can help you with lifting your Corolla
Yeah,
and making it good for off-road.
I'd love to have a Prius to do the exact same thing too.
Yes.
Just to have even better fuel economy, and just because almost nobody actually likes Priuses, I think it would just be hilarious to lift and put a bumper on it as well.
Some guy put some sort of, I think, a diesel in one. Did you see
Yeah,
that?
12 valve, I
Yeah,
think.
12 valve,
I've
yeah.
seen that one. That looks sick. It's got the hood stack, or
Yeah.
the stack right out the hood.
Blowing out black smoke.
Yeah.
It's awesome. I think this is for you. The cost of living expensive up there? I doubt he means Ohio, because Ohio is like probably one of the cheapest states.
So that varies significantly on where you live in the province. If you live near the coast, like near Vancouver, it is significantly more expensive. If you live out in the woods like I do, it's significantly cheaper. Just from people I've talked to, like my friends like Sean and Casey, Stories on Island, Casey 250 on YouTube. If you guys have seen them, they live near the coast, and yeah, there's it's a lot more expensive to live there. Where like houses just cost more, rent costs more. Where yeah, I live in Cranbrook, which is in the Kootenays, and I mean it's pretty cheap here.
Yeah.
I don't want to throw exact numbers out because I don't know what's good and what's not compared to where you live. It's hard to say what is good.
It's probably like comparing like Ohio to California.
Yeah, exactly. You can't really compare them. I mean, at the coast you got the ocean, I guess, which is cool, and cities if you're into that. But yeah.
All right. Where were we? Caden T. It's good to see a lot of you guys back from last week, by the way. It makes me feel like we're not totally screwing this up, so it's a good confidence builder here. Yeah, he sent me some pictures of his frame. He's got a Mitsubishi Montero, and his frame is basically doing the same thing that the Toyotas do, so I gave him some advice on where to go with that. Jim, have we thought of doing a JZ swap into a 4x4 Yoda? That's beyond my financial capabilities for the foreseeable future. That's kind of why I just stick with the 22s and the Rs and the 22 REs. But I have seen it done, especially over in, what is that, Dubai, where they go up all the sand dunes?
Yeah.
Just with a
pretty popular
massive
over there
turbo
too,
on
yeah.
there. Yeah. And
So, and to do that, you need to do pretty much everything I'm doing with the V8 swap too. Different bell housings. You need to move the tranny back because you just can't fit the massive inline six in the engine bay. And yeah, it's not cheap because you need to buy a 2J, which costs like at least up here in Canada, they're going for at least like $2,000, $2,500 for the motor alone. And then you need to spend another $2,000 on adapters and everything else to make it run. So that, not in my price range, but it would be really rad.
Clinton, are you keeping a tally of what you put into your V8 swap?
Yeah.
Okay.
So far, I've broken even.
Nice.
So I sold the motor and the supercharger for $2,500, and so far I've spent $2,500, and that's including the 1KZ rad, the oil pan, the bell housing, clutch kit, flywheel. I think that's pretty much it. But those are all really big ticket items that cost a lot.
Yeah, that's good. That's encouraging for us, you know.
Yeah. It's pretty much just trading parts when it comes down to it. I've got rid of one thing, which luckily I had the supercharger, and that's worth a good amount of change.
Yeah.
I mean, I paid for it at one point, but it definitely made it easier to do this swap.
Here's one from Specs. How do you guys learn about engine wiring and the more complex parts of a car? Well, for me, I started out working on Hondas for about 10 years. Then I got into the Toyotas. So there's some experience there. But for the most part, well, actually, hold on a second.
What do you got?
I always keep it by my desk to reference. This guy right here. You need to get yourself a Toyota Bible. Worth its weight in gold.
What is that?
This right here? Yeah, what?
Oh, that's funny. So my answer to that is just look at the diagrams. It's hard to explain, but the more you study them and try and follow them and try to understand them, you need to just kind of, I don't know. It's weird. I can't really explain how it happened to me, but when I first did my 3/4 swap, I was struggling hard with the wiring side of it. And all I did was sit there and read the diagrams for hours trying to figure out what does what, and all of a sudden it clicked and I knew what things were, or how to read it. And I don't know. Honestly, I can't explain how that worked, but if you look at diagrams long enough, you'll start and study them, you'll start to understand how it works, if that makes sense at all.
That actually does make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's like a lot of little like icons and symbols and stuff, but once you learn them and you get it, then it's just like learning a new language, sort of.
You'll learn how to identify plugs, and because on the diagrams, every plug is labeled. It tells you exactly what pin to look at in the plug, so the colors are there. They make it really easy to actually understand once you know how to read it. But yeah, you're right. It's like knowing or learning another language, because you need to know what all the symbols stand for.
Yeah.
But yeah, once you do one, and I would highly encourage, if you're doing an engine swap, to make your own harness and learn how to do it instead of buying a harness. Just because if anything goes wrong in the future, you're able to diagnose it and fix it yourself, instead of going, oh, well, is it this conversion harness that I bought that might have something wrong with it? Or I don't know. It's worth doing once to learn. And then, yeah, I've done several 3/4 swaps, and now this 2 UZ swap. So, yeah.
And see, my truck's got the 22R, which has the least wiring of all. And
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. The only thing is, you got to learn how to work on a carburetor and tune that. So
That I've got zero experience in.
yeah, I don't have much myself. Let's see, Jeff. He's got a 86 22R 2-wheel drive pickup. He's been working on over the winter. He's got it running with the stock carb, but he also has a Weber carb with it. Any opinions on the Weber versus the Edison? Well,
I guess this is a you question.
yeah. I have the stock carb on mine as well, and I say if it's not broke, don't fix it. I know with the aftermarket carbs, you got to eliminate a lot of stuff, all the air recirculation lines, the EGR stuff. So you're taking off a lot of parts. If you're going to do that anyways, to whatever, clean up the engine bay or not pass emissions depending on where you live, then you can go ahead and go with the aftermarket carb. But once again, if you put the aftermarket carb on there, you gotta tune it and get it running right. So unless you know that or know someone who does, I would say just run it stock. I mean, you're not making much power with a 22R anyways, and a different carb isn't gonna make much difference in the pants.
Is there emission stuff in Ohio that you need to comply with or get inspected?
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
Yeah, it depends on what county you live in.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to think. I live in a non-E-check county now, so I haven't had to deal with it for a few years now. But I want to say if it's 96 or newer, it's just an OBD2 test where they plug you into a computer and scan the computer for codes.
Yeah.
If it's OBD1, which is 95 or older, they put you on like this little dyno thing and they stick a sniffer on your tailpipe.
Yeah.
And yeah, I have some stories about that, but I'll save that for another time. About some ways I passed that guy.
Yeah.
So, and that's only in certain counties, mostly counties near bigger cities. Cuyahoga County near Cleveland. I'm sure Columbus has it, but not where I live.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
We got nothing like that here.
Yeah. Not out there
No,
in the
no.
sticks.
No. I don't think anywhere in BC.
Let's see what we got here. Okay, I'm getting behind. What do I think is better, a 22R or a 22RE if it's stock? 22RE is obviously a little bit more powerful motor. It seemed to be the choice. Personally, I have more experience with a 22R. Every 22R that I've had in a truck has just ran awesome. I've had 2 trucks with a 22RE, and one was okay. It had a little bit of a leaking head gasket. The other one was just a headache. It was one thing after another. And what I like about the 22R is the 22R is that it'll go bad, but it won't just be like one day you get in it and it runs like crap. It'll slowly degrade over time. Whereas a 22RE with all the electronics and sensors, one day you'll just be driving and you'll get a check engine code and it'll run like crap. So I will say that's the one advantage of the 22R that doesn't get talked about a lot, even though it's slower.
Sorry. That being said, though, I have friends who have the 22R, and wheeling or off-roading, the carb can become a disadvantage on hill climbs specifically, or when you're off-cambered, and the carbs just don't like that.
That is very good.
They'll start to bog and die depending on your incline. So if you're wheeling or you plan on being in situations where you're doing lots of hill climbs, or the truck might be off-camber or whatever, off-road it makes a little bit more sense to have an EFI system if it is more of an off-road rig. On the road, you'll probably never experience the carb doing stuff like that, though.
Yeah, I actually had that happen one time. I was going up a very steep incline, and it started cutting out on me.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's a good point. Or, a lot of times, if you're building a serious off-road rig, I've seen a guy that did a propane conversion on his 22RE, and he says he loves it. It gives you more bottom end, but that's, again, a little bit of money there.
Yeah.
That seems to be the off-road choice.
I don't really think it is anymore.
No?
I think a lot of guys have moved away from propane. It's not nearly as accessible as it was, like even 10 years ago. At least here in Canada, like propane pumps, like to fill your vehicles, are like dying. Like everywhere there was, I don't even know if there is anywhere you could fill a propane truck in my city right now.
Interesting.
Yeah.
We got here. Any advice on clutch options for 87 4Runner with a 22RE?
Aizen all day long.
That's what he says. He installed Aizen with master and slave cylinder, and the clutch feels super soft with not enough engagement.
Check your bracket.
What's that?
Check your bracket.
Okay.
Your clutch bracket. It's very common for those to break. In my truck, my clutch bracket broke, and I thought it was the hydraulics. I replaced the master and the slave cylinder because this was only a few months after I did the clutch. I knew the clutch itself was fine, and it had the same thing. I looked at my bracket that the clutch is attached to, and it had a big crack in it. And every time I pressed the clutch, it just pulled the bracket off of the firewall and didn't actually push the push rod into the master cylinder. So, yeah, check your bracket. It could be cracked. It's very common in them.
So the actual like stamped steel actually just cracks.
Actually cracks. Yeah,
Wow.
I've seen it many times.
Okay. Well, there you go. I was gonna say, you know, double check there's no air in the line, but you probably already got past that point, I guess, if you're replacing all that stuff.
Yeah.
All right, we got an '84 Toyota front FWD. I guess he means rear-wheel drive. Going to install a 3-inch lift, leaf spring front, and blocks in the rear. Any extra parts needed? So 84. I don't know if he means by FWD if you mean 4-wheel drive or rear-wheel drive. So let us know on that before we dig into that question.
FWD, doesn't that normally mean front wheel drive?
Yeah. We'll get back to that one. Any specific brand that can fix the sag? I don't want to go over 2 inches. Let's see. This is the fast lane. I'm not sure which vehicle you're referring to here, but let us know. Oh, here we go. It's for an '86 4Runner. Okay, so the rear is sagging like they all do. That I don't know. I have not yet owned a 4Runner. It's on my bucket list, but I don't know what you could do to get that back up.
I see people commonly put the Daystar just puck lifts, or not puck. Yeah, they're kind of like they're just kind of a spacer lift. I've seen that a lot in the back of 4Runners just to stop that sag, because they all do sag. Unless you have brand new coils in it, they'll start sagging after time. But
yeah, well, the '86 has leaf springs, and actually, you see some people they get a coil spring from I'm guessing a newer 4Runner, the second gen, right?
Yeah.
And they actually put that
Zook mod
on the between a leaf spring and the bump stop, and kind of like wedge it in there somehow. I don't know if I'd advise it, but I guess that's a cheap fix for the sag.
I think it's called a Zook mod, isn't it?
Zook mod might be. It might be.
Yeah, it is. Look up Zook mod if you. That might have your answer, but yeah, I've never actually seen anyone do that in person. I've only seen it on forums, but yeah.
Yeah, there was one guy that did on a YouTube video, and people were just giving him hell in the comments. They're like, "That's gonna fall out the first time you flex it, and this and that." But hey, when you're on a budget, man, you make it work. Double cardigan joint on one end of front drive shaft. Gonna square tube it. Slow speed with some high speed wheel spins on occasion. Pinion is not exactly pointing at the transfer case. Good or bad? Clinton, you might have some experience with a custom drive
so
shaft.
Double cardan on the front drive shaft with the square tube, in my experience, is just a terrible idea. It should be straight U-joint to U-joint with square tube drive shaft. I can't explain why, but the double cardan always seems to shake a lot more with the square tube drive shaft than just straight U-joint to U-joint. I don't know why, but it seems to have been our straight U-joint to U-joint just seems to be a lot better. And I mean, when you're square tube drive shaft, you kind of want it as smooth as possible because it's going to be rattling no matter what. But yeah, one of those things I can't explain or have an actual reason for it, though.
We have another question. I'm thinking about converting an '88 pickup. Hold on. I clicked the wrong button here. My bad. I was trying to be funny and have like a cricket sound effect for this one because we're not going to know the answer to this. Thinking about converting an '88 pickup to an electric vehicle. What are your thoughts on electric conversions? Again, crickets. I know nothing about them.
I've considered this. I've done a lot of research on this as well. I would love to do. And for some reason, it's not recently, but a couple of years ago, I had this idea of wanting a fully electric first-gen 4Runner. And like, I made like a cart of what I would need to buy to make it happen. And I'm pretty sure it was like almost 10 grand or so with the electric motors and the batteries and stuff like that. I can't tell you exactly what you need to do it. I knew back then it wouldn't take me that long to do the research to figure out how to do it again. But yeah, you need a bunch of fancy stuff and electric speed controllers and whatever else. I'd be I'd be keen to try it at some point in time in the future. It's not something I'd be ready to do right now, but I think it would be rad.
Yeah,
Also, it's just one of those things that would be really fun to do just for the challenge of doing it and making it happen.
I agree. That would be the fun part.
Hmm.
Did you guys ever subscribe or watch Rich Rebuilds on YouTube? He does a lot of
He's
the
putting an LS in a freaking Tesla. That thing is so cool. I'm excited to see that.
and he's put like Tesla drivetrains into other stuff. He's
Yeah.
really good at that stuff.
Yeah.
Check that out. Let's see. Specs. I'm in California, so no engine swaps anytime soon. But I have a Bible, so I guess I'll just read that front to back. Yeah, man. Like I said, the back has all the wiring diagrams, and once you get comfortable with understanding those, you'll be able to do it pretty much anything.
So those Bibles, at least in my experience, the wiring diagrams are never accurate. Toyota change stuff every single year. It seems, I guess, unless you have a specific year.
Which I
Like
do.
if it's, yeah, if you have a specific year, it might be better. But when I need diagrams, I go straight to the dealership and ask them to print them off for me because they can do that.
Man,
Yeah,
everybody's so cool
every
up
time,
there.
every time I need diagrams, I just go talk to parts and service at the dealership, and yeah, they just print off whatever diagram I need. Like the 2UZ swap, I went in and got combination meter diagram, engine diagram, charging diagram, starting diagram, and overall wiring diagram for the 2UZ, and I got the exact same diagrams for my truck. And yeah, they printed all of them off for me, like 200 pages. And they're all like newer, they're all digital, they're not from a book like they used to be. They've all been converted and they're all color coded and they're nice diagrams too.
Oh, nice.
So
You've got a friendly dealership up there. I feel like when I go into my dealership and I ask them for anything, older,
other than, yeah,
they're just like,
the parts and service department know me pretty well now. But yeah.
What size exhaust is recommended for a 22R? Motor is stock. I don't know. I would just Google what is the stock exhaust size. I know it's not much.
I swear my brother's his 85 was like an inch and a half. It was
Yeah,
tiny.
it's little. Yeah. I was gonna say it's definitely under 2 inches. But
Yeah,
Price
maybe
sounds-
inch and three-quarter, but it was small.
yeah.
My V8, I'm running 2.5 to the collector and then 3 inch out the back.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, got the exhaust kind of planned out for that.
That's cool. So that's gonna sound nice.
Hmm.
Okay, man, a lot of carb questions today. I don't want to sound. I'm not an expert at carbs, so I'll stumble through this here. I'm in that process of swapping a Motorcraft 2150 carb on my 22R. The Jeep guys love them, and they handle angles well. Well, there you go. I guess it's more of a carb designed
Yeah.
to handle the off-road. What is a good brand for headers? Well, when it comes to headers, in general, you get what you pay for. I know there's some lower end stuff like what, Pace Setter. I think they're sort of like
Mhm.
toward the bottom, and then you're gonna go up and get some nice stainless
think-
stuff as well.
LCE makes headers for
LCE.
22RE.
Yeah.
Yeah, they make a lot of 22RE stuff. But
Yeah, LCE is pretty much a safe go-to for any Toyota part. They
Yeah.
do good quality stuff.
I just bought a short throw shifter from them.
Nice.
Yeah, because with my dual transfer cases and my triple sticks, with my second, fourth, and reverse gear hits my transfer case sticks. So short throw shifter, tighten them up, and hopefully it won't interfere anymore.
Nice.
But sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt this
always
question or whatever.
No, you're good. It's for a 22RE. So there you go. LCE would be good. There's a company out west called 22RE Performance. Bought some stuff from them. I don't know if they have exhausts or not, or headers or not, but it's worth checking out. Let's see.
Perfect.
In your last live stream, you said you thought I Hate Mud was the best Toyota forum. What are some of your other favorite Yoda forums? Let's see. I like Yoda Tech. It's pretty good. I've been on there a lot. What about you, Clinton?
I've only ever used Yoda Tech, but I don't use Toyota forums or off-road forums anymore. I more or less use Facebook groups for that, which is good and it's not good. I see a lot more stuff through there, but I see a lot more posts on like what size tires can I fit, or like just stupid questions that you could easily find the answer to by just punching the same thing you posted into Google.
Yes, over and over and over.
Oh yeah, exactly. It's like, or how hard is it to do this? How hard is it to do that? And I'm like, nothing. I mean, I hate posts or people who ask how hard specific jobs are, because it depends on your experience at the end of the day. Something can be such super easy for me can be ridiculously difficult for somebody else.
Exactly.
But yeah, see, to kind of look up how to do things on forums or YouTube and make up your own decision on whether you want to tackle the job. But yeah.
Let's see here. Caden T wants more 80 series Land Cruiser videos.
Yes.
More of those will be coming. I will
Go
say,
wheeling in it.
We finally had a decent snow today. Not like the kind of
Snow
stuff we're
wheeling.
used to, but we had about probably 6 inches to a foot of snow over the last couple days. So I finally got to test out the Land Cruiser today on some snowy roads, and that thing is the best thing I've ever driven in snow. I mean, it just felt like it was going over nothing. So
You got more snow than we do.
yeah, that's unusual. Yeah,
In
we got
town, anyways. In the mountains, you'll find feet, but in town, I've only got like a couple inches.
Okay, he says he's going to check out the bracket for the clutch. Good.
I've actually got a video on that if you look on my channel. I mixed it in the video where I replaced the master and slave cylinder. You'll see exactly what to look for.
Cool. Let's see. Okay, this is back.
Maybe I'll just throw that in the chat.
Yeah, why don't you do that? See, I'm going to respond to the earlier question about the 84 Toyota FWD. He meant 4x4. So he's going to install a 3-inch lift, leaf spring front, and blocks in the rear. Are any extra parts needed? So basically, are any extra parts needed for a solid axle 3-inch lift? I don't know if you're going to need extended brake lines for that height or not.
Probably not, but I would do it for peace of mind anyways.
That's true. Yeah, wouldn't hurt.
I would also run high steer.
I don't know. Is 3-inch?
It might not be necessary, but the push-pull,
Oh yeah.
it just sucks, and you're gonna a washboard is gonna become way worse, and it's just gonna have a ton of bump steer the more you lift it. But it's not necessary, but it's nice.
Yeah. I will say though, when I bought my 85, it had a 4-inch suspension lift on it already, and the original push-pull steering. And everybody's always telling me the high steer was so much better, like day and night difference. So I did it, and I honestly couldn't tell much of a difference on road. It didn't seem to steer any different. Off road a little bit better, because on certain conditions, if I had the wheel cranked and it was articulating, it just wouldn't be happy.
Yeah.
But that did help a little bit for off roading. But
I just find the push-pull bump steer so hard. At least in my brother's 85, it's awful.
Yeah. But I know you need a certain amount of clearance to get that high steer, and I thought it was 4 inches. I could be wrong though. That's something you may want to research, and I think we talked about this last week too.
If you look at how my truck's set up, we moved the steering box right forward, and it's not an issue that way. So
yeah.
Honestly, I don't think you need a ton of lift, unless maybe, is it oil pan that hits on? No, 22RE. Where's the oil pan?
I think it was the oil pan.
Yeah. Okay.
I think so. Man. I'm just trying to think right now. I know you lose your engine cover regardless, the shield on the bottom. But then I think maybe if it flexes too much or something like that, you might smack the oil pan depending on your amount of lift.
I mean, that bit of a skid plate they give you is kind of useless anyways.
Yeah, once you're lifted, it's kind of defeats the purpose.
Yeah, it would be impressive if you can smash your oil pan through your front axle and steering and everything. That's
Right.
already protecting it. So
Yeah. So, yeah, definitely, replace those 30, what, 7-year-old brake lines. And
Yeah.
once you get the lift done, maybe think about upgrading to the high steer because that is nice. And not to mention when you're off road, you're not going to bash your steering bar on a rock. So you're not going to lose your steering if you hit a boulder or something.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Crazy how simple these 22R engines are once you tear into them. Before this, the most intensive wrenching I've done was the belts on my Miata. YouTube and the Yoda forums are godsends. Yeah, they are a very simple motor, and they're being that they make such little power, they can take so much abuse, and that's what I like about them. I know Clinton and I have different experiences with the 22Rs.
They take so much abuse until they don't.
Yeah. And then they get the syrup.
Yeah, and then they get the syrup.
Quinn Parrish, the Zook is the Zook mod that we were talking about to the cheap DIY way to reduce the sag on the back of your 4Runner is by putting a coil spring from a newer 4Runner in between the leaf spring and the what's the word I'm looking for? The stopping bracket.
Bump stop?
Yeah, bump stop. So that's supposed to get your lift back. Some people like it. Some people say it's not the way to do it, but it's cheap and it works.
In my pickup, when I noticed a sag in the rear, and it's when it was in stock leaf spring mode, it's far from that now. I just bought, I think they're like $50 Add-A-Leafs off eBay, and that gave it a significant amount of lift. Like it probably restored 2 inches of lift in the rear, just from one Add-A-Leaf. And yeah, they're cheap too on eBay if you wanted to do it a little bit more proper and something that doesn't just look sketchy like the Zook mod.
Yeah, I think I'd go that route as well with the Add-A-Leaf. Let's see, any tips for waterproofing distributor caps for river crossings? I feel like we had this question last week.
Did we?
I think so. I've never. You ever crossed any really deep water in your truck, Clinton?
Yes.
Like you're talking like into the doors or?
Yeah, definitely into the doors, but not much deeper than that.
Okay.
I've never. Okay, so in the 22RE, like my brother's 85 again, he's had issues with the distributor getting wet, even not necessarily in the river crossing, but just hitting water too fast and getting it soaking wet. But the second 22RE we put in it had a cover that went over the distributor, which he didn't have on his original. I don't know if it's a stock thing to have a cover on it.
It is.
But if it's okay, well then there you go. There's covers that exist, and apparently they're stock. It was just missing when we got his 85.
Yeah.
But that, I would imagine that would protect from splashes. But if you're actually going to dunk it underwater, I don't know. I don't run anything with a distributor anymore.
That's true.
I ditched mine a long time ago.
Yeah, and I was going to find a picture of this cover. I had a picture of one somewhere. I thought it was factory. My 85 has one.
Yeah, see, my brother's 85 didn't, but somebody could have easily removed it in the 30 whatever years that truck has been owned by other people.
Yeah, I'll look for that. I'll see if I can dig it up. But it's like this rubber boot, and it has these like 3 metal snaps on it, and it just snaps around the distributor pretty much.
Yeah, I think that would do a good job, except for, if you physically submerge your engine, but then you might have other problems.
That's true.
That being said, I have a friend so there's a local mud bogs here, and the Friday night he completely submerged his truck. Like he was standing on his roof, his hood was completely underwater, and he blew the 22RE. He went home that night, replaced the 22RE in like an hour and a half, and was back to mud bog the next day still. So even if you ruin a 22RE, they take no time to replace.
Let's see. This next one. Oh wait, what do we got? This. Hang on. They were right here. Okay. I've got a 8722R. It would shut off while it's decelerating. As soon as I went into neutral, the RPMs would drop to 0 and it would die. I pulled the air filter off to look around, half pushed around some vacuum hoses, tested the fuel cutoff solenoid, and then put it back together to show a friend the problem, and it started running perfectly again. Any ideas what the problem was? That's an odd chain of events.
Mm-hmm.
It's very specific though. When you say put into neutral, are you saying it's a manual transmission? Just curious. I don't think it's like a vacuum. I don't know. It could be maybe a vacuum issue, and taking it out of gear, let the engine fall. Having it in gear might actually keep those RPMs up to keep it from stumbling. But I mean, it sounds like it fixed itself. So, no, I wish I could tell you about that. I've never had anything like that happen with mine. Either,
Nope.
it runs a little crappy and I tune it up and it's good again, but it's never actually just died and then came back to life. So if any of the viewers have any suggestions, feel free to type them in there. But sorry, Brad, I've got nothing on that situation. Where can you find the Bible? I mean, I guess you can probably still go get these at your dealership. I bet they cost a fortune. I've seen them on eBay, Amazon. I actually bought the ones for my 80 series off eBay. They were a little bit cheaper than they were on Amazon. So you can still find them brand new. Of course, you'll save some money and have some grease on it, but if you don't mind getting a used one, that's a good way to save a few bucks, because I think they're probably close to $100 new, I would guess.
I don't know. I don't own one. I've never bought one. It would also be insanely irrelevant on my truck.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. At what point is your truck no longer an 89
Yeah.
3.0 V6?
The body and frame are.
Yeah.
But that's it.
Okay, I got that. I found the pictures of that distributor here. And I'm going to jump over to my other screen here. Let me see how this is going to work. Okay. So there it is. And this just wraps around the distributor. There's a better view of it. And it's got those metal snaps to hold it on. So that's all it is. And that's what came from the factory.
Fancy.
Yeah.
I mean, it would definitely do the trick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's the same one.
But yeah, not all the trucks I've had one. So either they get ripped or people take them off and lose them or something. So
Yeah, service them and don't put them back on or something.
yeah. My local dealer sucks. They hate looking up parts for older vehicles. Now I just look them up on the OEM parts online and order them at the dealer. I'm kind of with you. It depends who you talk to. Like Clinton's got a good guy that he knows there.
Yeah.
Mine, it seems like it's almost like the guy's like before he like flips the screen around and starts pointing at different parts that he pulls up. But
See, my guy does that, but I know it's a joke.
I don't know. I mean, it seems like I've been going to my local dealer more, and I've met a couple guys there that have older vehicles. And if I pull up and they see what I'm driving, they're usually cooler with me, But it all depends on who you talk to.
Yeah, become friends with your local dealer's parts guy.
Yeah, that's the smart solution.
It's not any more difficult for them to look up parts for an older vehicle than it is like a 2020, but yeah.
I don't know why they don't take pride
In
in
fact,
it,
some parts are the same. I don't know if we talked about this last week, but I went and picked up, I wanted a OEM rear axle seal for my truck, and I went to the dealer to get it. And he was like, "Oh, we happen to have this in stock. It's the same rear axle seal that we use on the 2021 Tacomas." So apparently that part stayed the same from 1989 or even earlier since the IFS rear ends. So because the first gens, well, the factory solid axle trucks had different rear ends, different tube diameter. I'm sure those seals are different, but yeah, since at least the IFS rear ends up to current are the same rear axle seal, which is mind-boggling, but
Yeah, that is.
good for Toyota because part availability is super easy for them.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, if it ain't broke, why change it, for sure.
Yeah. Okay, sorry guys, getting caught up on questions here. Okay, we got into this last week a little bit. First gen 4Runner top on an 88 standard cab bed. He's pretty sure the beds are the same dimensions, but the 4-degree cab angle might be different than the 4Runner angle. And yeah, that 4Runner angle, I believe, is straight up or nearly straight up and down.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any companies that make one that fits? Yes.
Maybe.
If you've got a standard
At
cab.
least used to.
Yeah. What's that? No. Yeah, if you've got a standard cab.
Oh, you cut out for a second.
Oh. Let's see here.
All right. Your audio's cutting on me.
Are we cutting out, guys?
I think you're back.
Okay. Sorry about that. Yeah, it's the extra cabs that are hard to find a cap for. The standard cabs are pretty easy. Tons of companies made them back in the day. I would get on your Craigslist or your Facebook Marketplace and just look for a used cap. And there actually are caps that were made to look like the 4Runner style. They're hard to find nowadays, but if you can find one of those, that'd be pretty nice.
They get let go pretty cheap or free.
Yeah.
my last pickup came with a cap, and I just posted it for free because it's, I don't know, I don't find that they're worth that much. There are so many of them out there, at least for the older stuff. And I think the guy who picked it up ended up putting it on a Ford Ranger too.
Yep.
So probably any mid-sized truck, I guess, cap should fit, or older, I guess, because newer mid-size, like the newer Tacomas, are bigger.
And actually, I did a video about the shameless plug here about the cap fitment between S10s and Rangers and the Toyotas.
Oh, okay.
Here. I can post that link down there, and that might give you an idea of dimensions and what'll fit here. Before that, let's get on to the next question, though. Let's see. For pickup parts, do you guys use Rock Auto at all? I've used them a few times. Oil pump, water pump, gasket set. Can't beat the prices and seem to be decent quality. Not OEM, but decent. I know, Clinton, you're strictly an OEM guy.
I am, but you can buy a lot of OEM parts on Rock Auto.
Yeah.
They carry pretty much everything Aizen makes that you'd buy from your dealership for your truck. And I'm not strictly OEM on everything. Like I said last week, I'm pretty OEM strict to OEM when it comes to like fluids and filters. Like coolant, I'll buy right from the dealership. Oil filters, I'll buy right from the dealership. Which, pro tip, oil filters are cheaper from a dealership than they are your auto parts store. It's literally $4 for an OEM filter, whereas you'll pay $10 at your auto parts store, at least here in Canada. So it makes more sense to just buy an OEM one, and you know it's the one that was designed for that motor anyways. But yeah, I don't mind, like, I'll buy off-brand wheel bearings and tie rods and whatever else, but yeah, I use Rock Auto a lot.
Yeah.
My Rock Auto sticker collection, or magnet collection, is huge. And in fact, we talked about our Land Cruiser earlier. My Land Cruiser is on a Rock Auto magnet. So if you get one of those, yeah, yeah, legit.
That's awesome.
I got a picture of it. I don't have the magnet on me.
That's like the highest degree of appreciation you could earn for a Gambler 500 car, you know?
Yeah.
Let's see. Well, hey, while he's looking that up, I went ahead and posted that link for the cap fitment video down in the comments.
Let's see if you guys can see that.
Yeah.
Focus.
There you go.
Yeah, that's our Land Cruiser on a Rock Auto magnet.
That's
so let me know if
awesome.
you guys have that in your collection, because I'm curious. I've only ever had one person send me a message on Instagram saying, hey, I happen to get a Rock Auto magnet that has your Land Cruiser on it. But yeah,
I don't always buy OEM, but just stay away from the China stuff. If it's made in Japan, generally I'll be okay with using it. But outside of Japan, it gets quality and tolerances are lower.
I started using Chinese wheel bearings because they're so cheap.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing: when you're wheeling, you're tearing into your front axle every couple of months, anyways, and I'm replacing the bearings every couple months, anyways. So it doesn't make sense to keep buying expensive bearings when I'm replacing them so frequently.
There you go.
The cheap bearings easily last a couple of months. And when you're running lockers and 37s, you'll wear out your axle seals frequently, and you're just gonna have just dirty wheel bearing soup no matter what. So yeah, I replace them anyways just because of that. So yeah, I use cheap wheel bearings. I trust them for the amount of time I use them.
Let's see, electric or mechanical fan. Supposedly, mechanical moves more air, but electric is nice to switch off for water crossings. I've never crossed in any water that went, beyond the bottom of my cab, so I never had the need for electric.
You need to get out more.
What are you running in your V8 swap?
Dual electric fans.
Okay.
I don't physically have room for a clutched fan, so
Right.
I don't really have a choice. I've got that much room in between my rad and my front of my engine, so yeah, it's getting dual electric fans,
Nice.
which came in the other day.
Nice. Yeah, you've been busy wrenching. I know we almost didn't do this today because he's been so busy. So I'm hosting again this week just because I wanted him to stay out there, wrench, and not worry about setting up and getting everything dialed
Yeah,
in.
it's just more convenient for me right now to do it here.
Yeah.
We'll eventually be able to move it over to my channel, and I want to do it on my channel, just not right now.
Yeah. Wrenching is top priority. You got to get that thing done and get it out the
Yeah.
trails.
Well, and I need to make a video for Friday. I need to keep
that
wrenching
too.
to make sure I have content for Friday. And this YouTube thing's a vicious cycle, man. At least
Yeah.
it's fun.
It is. It is. What we got here? Where were we? The cover is factory. Unfortunately, it is obsolete from Toyota. Okay, that's too bad, and that's probably something that I've never seen an aftermarket distributor cover. I don't think it'd be easy to make your own, but you have to get creative, I guess.
Somebody said you can make it out of an inner tube.
Hey, that's a good idea.
So comment on there.
There you go.
Yeah.
What's this? The cover is stock. It says Tech on the back.
Cat, get out of here. Thank you.
I'm not sure what cover we are talking about here. The fast lane. I'll go back up and see if I can figure this out. The cover. All right. We'll move on from that. Let me know if I'm missing something important there. Here we go. Fellas, I'm in a major overhaul on my front end of my 85 Toyota. Straight axle, bearings, everything. Your 6th gear vids are great. All right, well, thank you, man. That means a lot. I have not overhauled the front axle of my 85 yet. That's on my future to-do list because I do have a leaking seals and stuff.
You have on the 80, though.
The 80
Right?
I just did this fall.
I saw a video on that.
Yeah, it's a pretty similar procedure. You
Yeah.
know what? I can grab a link for that and post it if you need me to. But it's a big job. But once you do it, you realize that why does everybody dread this so much?
See,
It's not that bad.
I think I commented on your video too, saying that for me that's a 45-minute job because we do it so often.
Yeah, you're a pro.
Yeah.
It did take me a while. First time doing it.
Yeah.
And of course, filming makes everything drag out longer than it should. But once you do it, it's pretty easy. I put a link down in the comments for that.
Yeah, I've filmed it in the past, but I've barely ever filmed stuff like that anymore, just because it's just normal service stuff. And I tend not to film normal service stuff or how to do specific, just service jobs like replacing water pumps, whatever anymore. They make a 2-hour job a 6-hour job because you're stopping every single step of the way, setting up the camera, thinking about what you're going to say about every single step. And I mean, part of setting up the camera is figuring out what angle actually allows you to see what you're doing, because that could also take forever too, trying to find the right spot to even put the camera. And yeah, I just don't enjoy making videos like that anymore. I'd rather focus on the wheeling and then like the mods that aren't just service. So like the actual like solid axle swapping or doing an engine swap or something just a bit more interesting than service. Even then, I'm not showing. I don't tend to show step by step how to for stuff anymore either. Just because once again, it's tedious, and I don't find a lot of people, or at least my audience, cares about the how to specifically. People don't subscribe to the channel to learn how to do each and every job. People who are looking up how to's are specifically searching for that how to do this on YouTube, right? So, yeah. That being said, that the how-to videos long term generally do really, really well, but they don't convert subscribers because they figure out how to do the tasks they're trying to figure out, and then they leave. So,
you know what? That makes perfect sense. You basically summed up why I get tons of views, but I don't get a ton of subscribers. That's probably exactly why.
Yeah. Whereas this V8 swap I'm doing is converting a ton of subscribers, way more than anything else I do. And I'm not showing step by step how to do it. I am showing a lot of steps, but I'm not saying how to do it. I'm saying this is what I'm doing. So, and people are interested because they see the general process of how to do it, but not detail. But stuff like that, I could spend so much time explaining and showing every little tiny thing I'm doing that I wouldn't be anywhere near the point I'm at right now on the swap if I was recording it that way. So you got to draw a line somewhere.
It just dawned on me what the Fastlane was talking about. He says the cover is stock. It says tech on the back. He's talking about the distributor cover that we showed. So it must be really tiny because I didn't see it in my photos, but so that's how you know it's original.
There you go.
Let's see. Hearsay Henderson again. He wishes he was our neighbor. You know what? It'd be cool to have like another Toyota fan like near me. I did meet a guy on Instagram. He lived about 40 minutes away. He's got an 84 long bed Toyota built for off-road and a 60 series Land Cruiser. So I was like, dude, are we best friends or what? So that's cool.
Have you had anyone stop at your house because of the YouTube videos yet?
Thank God, no.
So yeah, like a month ago, I had some random guy pull up to my house and come talk to me when I was working on my truck. And he's like, "Hey, I watch your videos. I recognized your shop. I live up the street." I'm like, "Oh, cool." Doesn't really give you a reason to stop by my house.
Nah, that's creepy, man.
He wasn't even into Toyotas. He just thought it was really cool that there was somebody local that makes wheeling videos.
I mean,
the guy drove he was like 60-something years old. Like he was an older dude and driving a brand new like Chevy Silverado, and it was the weirdest thing.
Yeah, that's awkward. That's really awkward.
It was really awkward. But yeah.
Yeah, I haven't had that happen. I've sold like some parts a couple times on Craigslist. Like I think I sold like a rear axle once, and I sold some wheels once. And a guy came up. He's like, "Hey, I know this truck," so that was kind of cool.
Nice.
But that's close enough for me to I don't want randoms showing up.
Surprised doesn't happen more often because I was blown away, and like I've gotten recognized even just like grocery shopping with my wife, or I get recognized at auto parts store. I think more often than anywhere else. Maybe because people that are shopping for auto parts are likely to be the kind of person that would be my audience and might be subscribed to me because I'm a local, and they find it once again cool that there's a local that does that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That's got to be kind of flattering, though, isn't it?
It is, yeah, for sure. But out in public, it is. But when somebody's stopping at your house, it's just freaking weird.
That's weird, yeah. No, I have not been recognized in public, or even like when I'm out with my truck or anywhere,
Oh, really?
Yeah, even when I go to like the Toyota dealership and I bring my truck or my 80, they're just like, "Oh, hey, nice truck." They're not like, "Oh, I know you from YouTube" or anything like that.
Honestly, I'm surprised. You're like more than twice the subscribers that I have.
I am, but I got to wonder how much of that fan base is Toyota versus just general, I
General,
do a
yeah,
lot of different
garage
stuff.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So maybe that's
that's
why.
fair.
And I
Whereas
live kind of in a
most,
smallish town too.
yeah, most of my audience is Toyota guys for sure.
Right. And off-roaders and whatnot.
And off-roaders, yeah. And I always thought that I had very small local or Canada even fan base, which because it is. If I look at my analytics, it's like maybe 10% of my viewers are Canadian and like 80% of them are United States. So I wouldn't have figured too many locals would even be watching my stuff, but or how they would have found it, I don't even know. But yeah.
When are we going to see the new 2022 Tundra?
Fall.
Crickets?
Hybrid.
Not on my channel.
Yeah, you're not going to see it on my channel, but
Yeah.
if you're saying in general, once again, I'm very friendly with my local dealer, and they told me fall we'd be seeing the redesign on the all new Tundra, and it's going to have hybrid. It looks like it's going to be a pretty cool truck, but
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. For me, well, I guess the sweet spot of old to new for me for the Toyotas is third gen 4Runner, and probably the last Tacoma would be like 2000 and what was it, 3 or 4, whichever one is the last year of that generation. I think that's like the sweet spot and kind of where it goes from being more utilitarian to more modern for me.
I like all of them.
Yeah.
If I could afford it, I would own a newer Tacoma and a newer Tundra. I want to build a tow rig Tundra of some sort. Get rid of the 5.7 and put like a Cummins or something in it just to tow my pickup around. Because I mean, I drive my truck down to Moab, and it's not, it's doable. It's fine. It's just when you're actually wheeling in Moab, knowing that you have to drive this 1,000 miles home after. It's not a fun, not fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're always in the back of your mind. Should I do this? Do I want to take this risk? What if I break? What if I roll? What if I what? If I had a tow vehicle, it would be just, yeah, make me feel a lot better about it.
I will say though, getting back to the newer stuff, I am a huge fan of the new 4Runners, especially the TRD Pros.
Yeah,
But they are so expensive. Even the used
they're really
ones,
expensive.
they really hold their value. But then again, that's all Toyotas for you, I guess.
Have you seen the Toyota? I think it's 40 Runner they call it. The newer newest generation. I think it's like a 16 4Runner, but they solid axle swapped it and put 40s on it.
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah,
that later.
I think there's a couple of the newest generation. Toyota is like the only brand of vehicle where people hack off the front suspension and put solid axles on brand new vehicles.
Yeah.
Like legit, like you don't see any other brand. Like the occasional show truck, people are doing it too on newer vehicles, but like like third generation Tacomas, like the newest ones, there is a lot of solid axle swap third gen Tacomas out there now. I don't know why. Probably because of the older ones and what people do with the older ones are influencing the newer generations. But would be my guess.
Yeah. Just imagine having that type of budget to buy a brand new.
I would love to build a brand new vehicle, but I mean, yeah.
Maybe
When I'm bigger and I keep that good relationship with my Toyota dealer, they'll help me out.
There you go. Maybe like 100,000 subs, you'll get crazy.
Yeah, there you go.
Subscribe to them, everybody.
Then try to pitch to them something crazy.
Yeah. How would you guys like to sponsor this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just give me a brand new Tacoma on a lease and
An account in the parts department.
and an account in the parts department. And at the end of the lease, they won't want it back.
No. Just keep it.
Yeah.
22 RTE motor. Thoughts? I've got no experience with the Sherbo motor. I know that they're kind of rare, kind of hard to come by. They don't make a ton of power. I mean, you think turbo nowadays, you think, a couple hundred horsepower at least. I think they're like in the range of like around 140 to 150, I want to say. So not an awful lot. Of course, they're not going to blow up or anything if you leave them stock. As far as I know, they're good motors. You're just going to have some extra maintenance and things to watch out for here and there. But
But
what do you think?
excellent trans and T case.
Yeah, yeah, they do have a very good
R
transit TAs.
R150 to the gear driven 23 spline input T case. That's where you want. That's what you want.
Yeah, those transmissions, they are worth a pretty penny.
Yeah, well, yeah. I don't know if the transes are, because the trans is essentially the same as a 3-liter truck, just with a different bell housing. Um, I don't know if the tail housing is different. It must be because it bolts up to the gear-driven transfer case, but it's a different input. I don't know. Either way, it is just an R150, and I don't think it's worth spending extra money on, because you can just get an adapter and slap your gear-driven transfer cases on it, like what's in my truck. But yeah, for stock, it's awesome.
All right, we got another question here. Any companies making bedsides for the 84 to 88 4x4 pickups? And we touched on this last week. The answer is
ToyotaFiberglass.com.
Yep, ToyotaFiberglass.com. And they're up your way, right, Clinton?
Mm-hmm.
Here in Canada. I don't know
Prince George.
how far from how many hours from you is that?
So they recently moved. They were in Penticton, which is like 4.5, 5 hours from me, but now they're in Prince George, which is like 10, 11 hours north of me.
Okay. So you may not want to stop by Clinton's house afterwards after you pick up your parts.
Yeah, please don't stop by my house.
But that's it. That's the only one anymore that's doing any kind of fiberglass beds that I'm aware of.
And their wait time is insane.
I bet. Yeah.
It's literally, it's just the one guy doing it, and he doesn't want to hire anyone else to meet demand because he has a wait list, and he likes having the wait list so that he has work forever. From what I understand, if he hires other people to work for him, he can cut down the wait list and end up waiting for months before he gets another order for another bed, right? So, but if it's one guy, and they charge a lot of money, I'm pretty sure it's like $2,500 for a bed.
For a bed, yeah. The bed sides weren't as bad, but still pricey.
Yeah.
Plus, you got to get them shipped.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. I don't think it was too expensive for me to ship, but it's shipping in province.
Yeah.
And I didn't get a bed shipped. I got my fenders shipped. R151 is a 4.3 first gear. If that's the case, then yeah, that's a killer tranny. I didn't know that. I thought it was just... is it R151? That is what is behind the 22 RET, I'm assuming?
Yes. Yeah, and it's just specific
It's
to that motor.
Because yeah, if that's the case, that's killer because it's got a granny gear. Mm-hmm. Or like a lower first gear than... normal R150, because the normal R150 is 3.73, if I'm not mistaken.
Uh-oh. I got my first stalker lined up. Caden lives in PA, but he vacations in Ohio. Let's see. Both your guys' bids make me super motivated. Been building an S10 with a D44 D60 combo for over a year now, getting close to the first drive. What year S10? Just curious. You don't see a lot of S10s around here these days.
No, neither here.
Let's see. If you get a kit that is specifically 3-inch lift, it should come with everything that you need. Been there, done that. Okay, there you go. JR 542. If you get a kit, it should come with everything you need.
Depending on the kit, I would assume,
yeah,
though.
depending on the kit. Yeah.
Because you could probably get a pretty cheap kit that only comes with the bare bones. Mm-hmm. And that's for pretty much any vehicle. You can find really basic lift kits, and you can find really great lift kits that come with everything you need. But I don't know, just read, look up what other people are saying about the kit you're looking into, and make your decision off that.
All right, we'll probably have a difference of opinion on this one. Top 3 Toyota motors.
3.4.
I agree with that on that one. Yeah.
I would definitely put 3RZ in there as well. I don't know how I feel about the 2UZ yet. But in my experience, those are really all I've used.
Yeah.
That 4-liter, I think it was a 4-liter in my F260. I could be wrong, but it was a bad motor. it didn't have any power. It was, I don't know, maybe it wasn't a bad motor. It just didn't have any power. It was very sluggish, and it
That's
just sucked back fuel bad.
I was gonna say
So
that's like 150 horse, isn't it, for
yeah,
a 5,000 pound vehicle?
yeah, and it just drank fuel like crazy for what it was. So um, yeah, other than that, I don't have a lot of experience. I like the Corolla engine, the ones that said.
Yeah. I gotta agree with you on Nick and Tom. The 22RE does deserve a mention there. I know Clinton doesn't have the best experience with that, but I mean those things are like the AK-47 of the Toyota engines, just because you can just abuse the crap out of them and just bog them in mud and just they just don't die unless you
Until they
wheel
do.
with Clinton, and then they die.
Uh,
So
they do.
they do take some abuse though.
They don't last very long in Canada, I guess. Maybe that's the
That's
difference.
it. Yeah. Let's
Uh,
see. Am I going to replace the original graphics on my red pickup? Um, my pickup was a DLX model, so it never had any kind of graphics on the sides. At least, well, no, it didn't, because the cab had original paint when I bought it. The bed had been repainted, but the cab was original, so there were no graphics on it. That was a SR5 only option, as far as I know.
yeah, mine's a base pickup too, and I'm pretty sure the SR5s are the only one that got any special decals.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I take that back. The 87 I have, it's got a 22R motor, but it has graphics on the side. But they're different ones though. They're not the sort of stripe angled ones. They're like the swooshy ones.
I've seen swishy ones too, but I think that's more of a dealer installed add-on for like back in the day where they added the fancy swishy graphics to them, or just like when they used to put pinstriping on vehicles,
Yeah.
which you don't see at all anymore,
Nope.
unless like customers specifically ask for it. Then the dealership will do it, but it's not really a selling feature anymore.
Brian, what trim is your 85 Extra? Yeah, so it's a DLX, which is, I don't think it's the
I don't think he
lowest.
said Brian. I think he said
Oh,
Brain.
brain. Oh, thank you. Makes me feel like I know what I'm doing. Like I'm a genius here, which I'm not. But no, it's a DLX, which is I think the middle, maybe next to the bottom. But it does have like tilt, and it doesn't have a tack. It doesn't have leather. It doesn't have carpet. So it's near the bottom, but it has tilt steering. So That's about it.
I don't know if we got DLX as a trim package up here. I think it was either base or SR5. I don't think I've ever
Okay.
seen anything labeled as an DLX ever. And I've seen SR5s that come with options that other SR5s don't. Same with base models that come with options that other base models don't. But I don't think I've ever seen a DLX specific trim or label anywhere. There we go. He fixed it, Brian.
Appreciate that. Let's see. All right, Caden, thank you. I didn't think you'd come and stalk me, but now I feel better knowing that you do respect people and their property. Let's see. This is the S10 is a 2001, has a V6 and auto, 10 inches of lift. Wow, using Dakota rear springs up front. Nice. I wish there was a way to post pictures in this chat, so I can see some of your your vehicles. Let's see. Good place to get lockers.
You can get him to tag you on Instagram.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah. Let's throw out our Instagram handles there.
All right. Well, I'm dirt__ garage.
And I am 6th_ gear. There you go. You guys can just copy and paste if you want. Um, good place to get lockers for 82 4x4, air or e-locker. Clinton, you take this one first because you obviously are the off-road expert of us both.
Junkyards and Facebook Marketplace. um, or just people that hoard Toyota parts. Because I think almost every area has got somebody who's got a backyard just full of old Toyotas. I wish I was that guy, but yeah, my e-locker that's in the front of my truck came from somebody who hoards Toyota parts. My brother, he got his on Facebook Marketplace, and I got a couple other friends who got them from just junkyards. They go for like $500 Canadian for an e-locker, which is not a bad deal considering you go air, you're looking at like $1,200 with the compressor and everything at the end of the day. So
Yeah.
yeah.
What about the reliability between the two? Do you prefer?
I
Cost
prefer
wasn't a
e-lock.
factor.
E-locker every day.
E-locker every
So
day? Okay.
Air locker, you're depending on an electronic system with a relay to turn your compressor on and your switch, and then you're relying on an air system to actually actuate your locker on, right? Whereas the e-locker, you're literally just relying on the one system, your electronic system, to hit your actuator and put it into or turn it into locked mode. I've been wheeling with several people who have had their air lockers fail just because it gets the copper line inside the diff nicks, or it gets just a slight leak somewhere, and then all of a sudden you don't have any sort of front lock. So yeah, that's why I like the e-lockers. I've barely seen any of them fail. Now that being said, we've picked them up where they didn't work because the actuator was stuck, or it just didn't work, and that's commonly because people who had the e-locker never, ever, ever used them, so they never had a chance to move and just free up themselves. So,
All right.
but if you're constantly using the e-locker, I've never seen one just up and fail.
Good to know.
Yeah.
The talk on the 80 series pages, 80 series Land Cruiser pages. Those Land Cruisers came with optional front and rear locking diffs.
Yeah.
Which is like gold for everybody shopping for an 80 series. People say the e-lockers are horrible. Just go ahead and replace them with air lockers, or don't spend the extra money on they call it the locker tax, because people charge an extra few grand. They just say spend that money on air lockers instead.
So I feel like the people that say the e-lockers are garbage are people that are buying Land Cruisers with lockers from people who never use the lockers, though. So they're buying it, and all of the lockers don't work, including the center lock. And then they need to spend a ton of money replacing all the actuators because, they were never, ever used. But
that makes sense, especially on like the Lexus LX450s, which
right.
off-road.
Now, in the Land Cruiser, I know it's a 8-inch front, right?
Yeah.
Is it high pinion with the e-locker, or is it low pinion if you have the e-locker?
I don't know. I don't know, actually.
Okay. Because I'm pretty sure, I thought 80s had high pinion stock, but I wasn't sure if they had the e-locker with the high pinion or not. I'm just curious if it's the same as like the 8-inch ones that are in the 4Runners and Tacomas and stuff. Because that's what I put in the front of mine, was a 4Runner rear e-locker.
Okay. Yeah, that I don't know.
I'm just curious more than anything.
I just know I don't really would have a use for them, but I just wish I had them just in case. And I'd be one of those guys that would probably have it fail because I would never use it.
Yeah.
Let's see here. What do we got? Let's catch up on comments here. It's about, wow.
Yeah.
We were like, this will be like a half-hour show. And here we are. It's been an hour and a half. So
quite a few questions.
Yeah. We'll catch up, and then we're going to probably call it a night because you probably want to get back to wrenching, right?
No, I'm going to go to bed.
Yeah.
Long days in the shop. Kind of beat it out. And after you shower, I don't want to go out and get dirty again just to come back in and have to shower for the third time in a day.
That's true. But I was off-roading once, actually down in Wales that we talked about earlier, and I blew a fuse for my compressor, and then I was like, that happened at the very beginning of the trip, like the first big hill, and then the whole weekend I went out without a rear locker. So
Yeah, that's what I mean. There's two different systems that can fail on you. In that case, it was the electronics.
yeah. All right. All right. That gets us all caught up on the questions. I don't think I missed anybody. I apologize if I did, but yeah, man, we're gonna go ahead and call it a night and get it shut down because it's been an hour and a half, and
Yeah, it is.
we're gonna get some rest. But as far as the next show, I know we said we're gonna alternate between 60 garage and dirt garage, but with the swap that Clinton's doing right now, it's consuming a lot of time, and he's still got to run his own channel. So I
Yeah.
went ahead and ran it again tonight, just so he didn't have to mess with any kind of setup time and ironing
Yeah.
out all the specifics. So don't know for sure what's going to happen next week yet. Do you think you'll be having some time on Tuesday, or you just want to leave it up in the air for now?
Well, I got word that my flywheel's finally on its way.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. They found it, or they sent you another one?
No, so the company that makes the flywheel, I've been messaging them like every single day, bugging them because I mean I want my flywheel, and they're like, "Well, if DHL doesn't reply today, we'll send another one." And they didn't reply, so they sent another one for me. So
Yeah, I'm sure.
at least moving.
I'm sure it's long gone.
Yeah, I'm sure it's long gone. Yeah, there's no way DHL's just gonna find it.
No.
I think.
And be like, oh, this is for this year Toyota. Yeah.
Yeah. I sent them my video where I talked about their kit because I showcased what it came with, except for the flywheel, in my last video, and they seem to really enjoy seeing the promotion in the video, which wasn't paid for, by the way. It's just a really solid kit when it comes complete.
Yeah. All right. Last question. We got Thursday, or is it going to be a Toyota video? For me, yes. I went out, I think last Friday, and started up my 87 for the first time since summer. Did a nice cold start video. It's about, low 20s here in Ohio. Don't laugh, but that's about the coldest we're going to get this winter. So what do you got coming up Thursday?
I don't publish Thursday.
Or,
I publish
Friday. You're Friday. That's right.
Well, more engine swap stuff.
Yeah.
It's been the third week in a row of engine swap videos, but I mean, my audience doesn't seem to mind it.
No.
So,
I mean,
and I'm enjoying doing it. And like, my truck's not in working order, so it's not like I can go wheeling.
There you go.
Get other content. And it's not like I could put any of my other projects in the garage while the truck's in there either. So yeah, I just gotta get this finished up and then finally get a video of it actually out ripping.
Nice.
Which will hopefully be in the next couple of weeks, depending on when this flywheel comes in.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, I'm going to have lots of time to button up the wiring and all the other little tiny things that I need to do to get this done.
Good deal. Well, so yeah, stay tuned. Watch our channels for whoever makes the announcement and about the upcoming live feed. It'll be either me or Clinton, depending on how the schedule looks. But we're going to go ahead and sign off. So thanks, guys, for tuning in once again. And we'll see you guys next Tuesday. Have a good night.